Hi everyone, I'm Ron Van Sessen. I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate and I teach science, sourcing, and supplements. Welcome to episode number 5 on my series of Metabolic Health. And today we are going to be talking about some sourcing information for omegas. Now my last video was on the science of omegas. That was number 4. So if you don't know what an omega is, that's where I kind of define it. We break it down. We talk about the chains and the bonds and the carbon units and all that stuff and the placement and how these get broken down. Not that you need to know all that, but if it ever comes up, it only takes a few minutes to watch the video and then you'll have a nice little basic idea of what these things are and why they're important to you. So let's move forward from there and let's talk about how our bodies work with omegas and why we need them. So with these different kinds of omegas, again, we have omega-3s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and 9s. All of them perform a particular function. And so we cannot say, well, if we're low on one kind of omega, we'll just dose up on another kind. It doesn't work that way. We need to have a healthy balance. In fact, the World Health Organization came out with a rule of thumb that says that they want a 1-to-1 ratio between our omega-6s and our omega-3s. So they said that's the optimum scenario. For every omega-6 you should have an omega-3. Now, other organizations are not quite that strict, and they're saying, well, a 2-to-1 ratio is okay. 2-to-1 6s for every omega-3, that's good. Now, everybody kind of agrees that if it gets a little bit more out of whack, okay, so for example, we get 4 omega-6s for every omega-3 or 5 omega-6s for every omega-3, we're going to start experiencing health consequences. Okay, there's going to be some deterioration in some in our different body systems. Things are out of whack. Very important to understand this. So it only takes us 4 to 5 to get out of whack. You know, that 4 to 1 or 5 to 1 ratio to where we start having health complications. Now here's a scary thing. The World Health Organization also came out and did a study and figured out in the United States what the average ratio is that we're currently at. And they found that we are actually about 16 to 1. 16 omega-6s to the omega-3s. Now I want to emphasize to you again how out of whack this is. The amount of omegas we have in our system is not nearly as important as the balance we have in our system. So the high or low doesn't matter, not nearly as much as long as they are in balance. And at 16 to 1, that is nowhere near being balanced. And we as Americans are suffering a lot of health consequences as a result of that. So I want you to keep that in mind. It's very important that we boost our omega-3s. Well, you may be thinking, well, how do I know I'm not getting enough omega-3s? Well, none of us are because they're not readily available in our diet. And the omega-6s are. We don't really need to supplement them too much. Maybe some people do a little bit. But generally speaking, that's not a hard nutrient to get just through normal eating. But the omega-3s are a little trickier because they come primarily from things like sardines and mackerel and other cold water fatty fish that as Americans we just don't eat a lot of these days. So if we're not getting them from our food and we're this far out of whack, what's the answer? Well, we got to supplement. We have to take these. Now, I talked in our last video about how important this is for all the different body systems that we have because we are carbon-based. And these fatty acids are actually chains of carbon. That's what they are. They're kind of the building blocks that we're put together with. So it's very important that we give ourselves all of these building blocks. And our bodies will actually break these down and kind of rearrange them as needed. So they help fill in the gaps. But they can't do it if they don't have the omega-3s. We have to get the omega-3s. Our bodies can't make omega-3s. We have to get them from an outside source. So I just want to throw that out to you. It's very important that you supplement your omega-3s. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, what kind of omega-3s? What do I need to look for? The best sources out there come from fish. Okay, it comes from marine life. It does. So a lot of the fish oils out there on the market. I'm going to talk about that more in the next video. But basically, your omega-3s are coming from marine life. Now, you may say maybe you're a vegetarian or vegan or something, and you don't want to go that route. That's okay. You don't have to. There's other plant life that comes from the ocean that's also very high in omega-3s, and you can get your nutrients from there as well. And I'll share with you more information about that in the next video as well. But you have to be careful because there's some other ones out there that just aren't as good and just aren't as efficient. I'm going to give you a good example. Flaxseed oil. Now flaxseed is that's a very prominent source among people who are vegetarian or vegan to say, well, I get my omegas through flaxseed. Well, the problem is it's not very bioavailable. And what that means is our bodies just can't break it down and get the nutrients out of the flaxseed. So it's estimated that out of all the flaxseed that we eat, we only absorb about 1/20th of it. So you're talking about 5% of everything that you're eating. You're just not getting the nutritional benefit of that because our bodies just aren't designed to do that. Our bodies are designed for other sources. So what we want to look for is good sources of EPA and DHA. Those are the best ways to get that. And we can get that from both marine life, from fish, and from marine plants. So I'm going to share more information with you about that in my next video. So we're going to keep this one short for now, and I look forward to talking to you next time. And we're going to go through that, and I'm going to share with you the supplement, actually a couple different supplements here that you have choices on that are going to give you all of the omega support that you're going to need. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, and please come and visit us, come to one of our workshops here, or reach out to us if you have any questions on anything that I'm talking about here. Leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Join us at a workshop, follow us on social media, and as always, we wish you wellness. Have a good day.